Hey there, and welcome to the Become a Guitarist Today podcast with myself, Adam Rich, and guest Darren Rich on drums. So that was House of the Rising Sun by my guest today, John Steele from the band The Animals. And don't forget, if you do like this podcast, subscribe and like. It'd be greatly appreciated. Enjoy the interview.
John Steele.
John, it's Adam Roach here.
How are you?
I'm very good. Yourself?
I'm okay.
That's good.
I'm pretty good.
Busy there with all the interviews?
Yeah, it's part of the job, isn't it?
Yeah.
I enjoy it because
That's right. So first of all, we got your the tour next year. So the 60th anniversary coming to Australia, February, March 2024.
Yeah, I love playing Australia. It's great, but we really missed it during the lockdown because we've been pretty much every year for a spell, and then all of a sudden the lockdown, well, it happened to everybody, didn't it? It was horrible.
Yeah.
Suddenly we were, kicking our heels for 3 years nearly.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm glad to be back.
So how do you keep yourself company over the lockdown period?
Oh, wow. I mean, what did we all do? It's just, it was just too horrible. Fortunately, I live out in the country and I didn't have to worry too much about social distancing and things. I've got a decent-sized garden front and back and miles of countryside as far as I can see another.
Yeah, it's good.
Went out for long walks and tidied the garden up.
Oh, that's great. That's really good. So I notice with your band, it's always been like, especially these days, you said, there's no backing tracks. It's all live, which is really good to see.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as it always, as it ever was, the Animals, we never used special musicians, we never used a lot of electricity. It was just in your face and get on with it.
Yeah, that's good. That's where you want to be.
Yeah, that's the way I like it.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even pretend to try and keep up with everything that's going on these days. There seems to be so many different streams of music, that and so much of it is sort of like tech. It kind of loses me off, so I just stick with what I know,
Yeah, that's right. So can we just talk a little bit about when you guys very first started, which I think is really interesting, how when you had like your first little band together and like you were playing, was it trumpet? I think Eric was playing trombone, and then everyone just swapped instruments. Like then the banjo player went to guitar, the drummer went to bass. That must have been amazing to do that.
Yeah, it was. It's exactly how it happened too. When I first met, it was 1956, and until then, the sort of popular music at the time for young people dancing and whatever was Dixieland jazz, basically, or swing band stuff.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, rock and roll came along. I started off in my very early teens being a jazz fan. I took up trumpet because I didn't want to just listen to it. I wanted to play it. And Eric and I met. He had a bunch of, and like you said exactly, Eric, you had a trombone. I wouldn't say you played it, but and a friend did banjo, and then the guy called Alan who played drums, which was their drum, and I had that. That was the case.
Oh, really?
And I joined up with him, and then we played a little bit. And it was only a matter of months that we did that, because suddenly Eric decided what he wanted to do was what was happening now, not happening in 1925 in Chicago.
Yeah.
He wanted to get in on the rock and roll scene, and we just did that. We did literally. Jimmy said, "Okay, I'm going to start playing electric guitar." This banjo player, and the drummer said, "I want this new bass, the electric bass. I'm going to try that." I said, "Okay, well, I'll play the drums then."
Wow.
And that was the beginning of what became the Animals.
Yeah, it's amazing. So had you played much drums before that? I mean, I know you played trumpet, but Have you done much on the drums prior to that?
Not a thing.
Oh, really? Wow.
Not a thing.
That's crazy.
It's just one of those things. Just, I mean, a lot of people, it's not uncommon, people think anybody can play. You get people, see a drum kit with an empty seat, and they'll get them sitting on and start banging away on it. They think that anybody can do this.
Yeah.
But it's not that easy.
It's not.
But it was, fortunately, it was for me. I just took to it naturally, and that's comfortable for me. So I was in the right place.
So did you pretty much teach yourself, or you had a teacher as well for the drums?
I taught myself for most, first couple of years. I just banged away. And then I took some drum lessons from a professional dance band drummer in Newcastle. Tried to teach me sight reading.
Yeah.
Wow. I was okay with that, but I've got I don't know, my mind doesn't work that way somehow. And I did manage to get through. I did some cabaret work, in the early days, playing in the nightclub and things like that. And I had an attempt to read some parts, and I did used to manage to struggle my way through some parts, but I was never a sight reader. I just had to sort of bluff it mostly.
Yeah.
So that was the only sort of time I ever had to sort of feel as though I needed to take lessons.
Yeah. So you would have done a little bit of theory with the trumpet, wouldn't you? For the reading, like the timing and everything.
Yeah, I did. I took trumpet lessons, and I could read those parts at the time. I couldn't, these days I couldn't read a note in music, to be honest. But then I could, and it taught me timing and counting bars and useful stuff that it came in handy when I took up drums.
Yeah, because I teach drums, I teach guitar and piano as well. I teach all instruments. My full time.
Oh, wow.
That's my full-time job.
Wow. I'm impressed. I'm always impressed with people who can do that.
Yeah.
One of my pet niggles is when you get people who are brilliant actors or comedians or whatever, and they just sit down and play piano, and I thought, you bastards, how can you do that?
I know. There's a lot like that. I know a lot of people have said this to you, and I know this is going around, like House of Rising Sun. A lot of people do learn that first on guitar, to get those chords going. But I find with me, I love to teach the guitar parts, and then because I do a lot of band work as well, I teach the drummer the drum part and get them going, either in 3/4 or 6/8 time for that beat you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, what would you call it? Would you call it 3/4 or 6/8?
6/8, I always called it.
Yeah, me too. Now you
I
see,
was right.
Yeah. Yeah, so you really got that 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, dun, 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 that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always call it 6/8. I nicked that cymbal pattern from Jimmy Smith's Walk on the Wild Side.
Oh, did you?
Don't know if you ever heard that. Yeah. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, yeah. Now, I did notice back in the early days, like when you're first on like Ed Sullivan Show and, a few of those ones, the first film clips, like you did sit rather high, didn't you? Do you still sit high when you play now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I still do. And I mean, times I've ever have to jump on somebody's kit and play, and I find myself sort of practically sitting on the floor, I don't know how to get with the knees up to the chin,
Yeah.
I can't do that. Yes, I sit very high. I carry a little, because I do a lot of the gigs we do, especially when we're touring abroad. We just give the promoter our spec list of what we want in back line, and so I turned up at gigs, and it's a completely new kit that I haven't played on before. The first thing I do is I take this little brass chain out of my little leather bag and measure the height of it, and then adjust it to the length of chain that I've got. That's what I know I'm the right height.
Oh, really? That's good.
It works for me.
Because I've only really seen like yourself and Ringo Starr, pretty much the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was another drummer from the British Beat Boom called Dave Clark. He used to be the highest cedar I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
I think that was more of a neat. Yeah, did you ever see the Dave Clark 5?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up on like was it, bits and pieces. What was the other?
Yeah,
Like Glade All
right,
Over. Yeah.
He's practically standing up, you know.
Wow.
I think with Dave it was more of an. I think it was David was more an ego thing than a necessity, because I think he just wanted to be seen, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different style, I guess.
Yeah.
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 So talking about Ringo Starr, how was your time like growing up? I know you're pretty much at the same time. I mean, the Beatles maybe just a little bit out first, but then you guys are pretty much at the same time, weren't you?
Yeah. I think Ringo was a much more important drummer than he was given credit for at the time, you know. I mean, but my background was generally more jazz influenced, you know, and a lot of guys who I still admire and love and things could play this very technical MIDI stuff, and Ringo just seemed to strip everything down to the basics.
Yeah.
And just keep solid time and with some nice fills, you know. And he kind of made everybody realize you didn't have to be a highly technical jazz drummer to get to be in a band. You know, you could just do it. You know, I don't think he got enough credit for that, because it did make a lot of people stop and think, I don't need to be busy all over the kit. I just need to go bum 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 bum.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's right. Yeah, but then you hear other things like he does in, you know, for example, Come Together. It's a great little song to learn for the drums, and yeah, it's a little bit tricky, some of the stuff he does in that too.
He does it so well that it seems so simple, straightforward. You know, you think anybody, you know, somebody who doesn't know better could say, I could do that.
Yeah, that's right.
But you can't. You're not tricky. It's far cleverly than he makes it look.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, did you ever get to hang out with Ringo much back in the days?
No, we're all too busy flitting around the world doing, you know, playing tours and promoting singles and stuff like that. But we did occasionally, you know, in the TV studios in London, especially, where everybody who had a single out was doing the same circuit of the music shows, you know. And as well as that, there were clubs in London, nightclubs, where all the bands used to hang out after gigs. So there was a certain amount of social life, but we never got to be big buddies. So we never had time. You know, you just get in there and have a few drinks with your mates. And I think there was one time we were in the Scotch of St. James, and an American PR man from the MGM, who was our label in America, he came into London to visit, and we took him to this club. And he just couldn't leave it, you know, because he was looking around, thinking, Beatles, Stones, Kinks.
Wow.
This is crazy. He said, if this was in New York, the kids would have that place torn down brick by brick. You know?
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible.
But it was like that. It was an exciting time. You know, when we were playing in our various locales, you know, the Animals were from Newcastle, a provincial northern city.
Yep.
We were just. It wasn't until the Beatles kind of showed everybody way that everybody else who was doing the same thing in different cities realized we'd all been playing these, you know, at the same time, listening to the same influences, mostly from America, and developing, you know, our own different styles. But we'd all been doing the same thing at the same time without being aware of each other. And so the Beatles kind of made everybody look up and go, "Wow, what's happening here?" You know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. How about like with Eric Clapton and the Yardbirds? Was that just after you guys, or about the same time?
No, funny enough, it was exactly the same time when we first got a guy. Well, it was a musician called Graham Bond. Did you ever hear Graham Bond?
Yeah, Graham Bond. Yeah.
He was a Graham Bond organisation. It was a great band. He had Jack Bruce on bass and Ginger Baker on drums and Dick Hexel-Smith on tenor. And we were this was 1963, and we were the house band at a club called the Club of Go-Go in Newcastle.
Yep.
And Graham was a guest band, And we played support, you know, we just did a spot to introduce the band, and then they came on and did theirs, and then we went on to close the night. And Graham got up and jammed with us, you know, because he loved what we were doing.
Yeah.
And he was really good. And it was him who suggested, you guys have got to get to London. And he arranged an introduction for the manager, Mike Jeffries, became our manager, and he took off to London. And Graham introduced him to Georgia Gomorski, who was the manager of the Yardbirds.
Oh, wow.
And he arranged a swap. It was a funny scene.
Yeah.
We met a guy called Ronan O'Reilly as well, who introduced the first pirate radio station. He had a club in the West End of London. So we did this business December '63. Oh, that's it. Yeah, exactly years ago. And he went down to London for a couple of weeks and did all the Yardbirds gigs, and they came up to Newcastle and did all the we weren't even called the Animals then. Yeah, that's the story. It was at that point it was called the Alan Price Rhythm and Blues Combo.
Yep.
Which was a right mouthful. And when Mike came back up, he said, "Graham's set this thing up. Well, we're going to go down to London. You're going to do the Yardbirds gigs. They're going to come up here and do our gigs." And he says, "By the way, Graham suggested a new name because that thing you've got is too clunky." And he said, "How about the Animals?"
Wow.
We said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Well, four of us said yes. Alan wasn't too keen, but four of us said definitely, yeah.
Oh, wow. Now, I just want to, if we can, go back to, I know we spoke before about House of the Rising Sun, but I heard the story that you guys did that in one take. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct.
Wow.
I've got the actual proof of it because I wrote a letter a day later to my girlfriend at the time back in Newcastle.
Yep.
And I said we went in the studio and recorded Rising Sun, and we did it in one take. and that's there in that letter. And she kept all my letters to her. She became my wife, and I've still got the letters.
Oh, well.
So that's it. It's in pen and ink and in a letter upstairs in my in my bedroom. Proof that it was done in one take.
Yeah.
We didn't really have time for much else. We were in the middle of our first major theatre tour, playing support at Chipberry, and number was going down so well on the tour that we dived into a studio in London on the way from Liverpool down to Southampton, and it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, did quick setup, did a few bars for balance, played the numbers, and Mickey Mouse, he said, "Come through here to the control room." He said, "Listen to that." He said, "That's a hit record."
Wow, and it was right.
But you know, we always were like that. We could play live. We didn't mess around. We just got on with it and played. We got quite a bit of live television because of that. I got one program, and it was Ready Steady Go in London at the time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they often did a lot of live stuff, and they loved us because we could play without screwing up, you know.
And actually, I heard some of your YouTube clips over the last, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years. So do you still have the same band touring with you coming out to Australia next year? Is that the same band?
We've got a new bass player.
Okay.
Just recently, a guy called Norm Helm. He's a good player, really good player and a good guy. There's been a lineup change, but that's been 2 or 3 years ago now. But Barney Williams, a real two-handed player. He's really the best since the original band with Alan Price, in my book. He's really great. So yes, but and Danny Hardy he's been with us for more than 10 or 12 years now. Really good frontman, excellent guitarist, excellent lead singer.
Yeah.
Good frontman generally, and we get on well together. We all have good, lots of banter, lots of laughs. It's a great band.
Yeah, Danny's great. I've seen a lot of his clips on with you guys, and he does a great job.
He does, yeah.
So I'm guessing you guys will be doing all the hits, like "We've Got to Get Out of This Place," "It's My Life," "Don't Let Me Go Misunderstood," all those.
All of those, yeah. "Bring It On Home to Me," "It's My Life," and "Don't Bring Me Down." all those, they're really strong numbers, you know, they really stand up so well after all these years.
Yep.
I think that's really the strength of the band, you know, that people recognise the songs, even, you know, we get young kids in the teens and 20s who come along and see the band, and they know all the words, you know. Wow.
Yeah, that's right. Did you ever hear the Australian band, The Angels, their version of "We Got to Get Out of This Place"?
The Angels, yeah, they did. That's right. They did a good version of that, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. So, and I think there's been a few other people that was "Bring On Home to Me." Was that in the Commitments?
It was. We did that in 1965.
Yeah, but I thought someone else redid it
was
after
a hit
that.
version. Oh, I think there's been a few covers of that. You know, I mean, it was originally a Sam Cooke song. You know.
Yeah,
So we sort of nicked it. We covered it from Sam Cooke's version.
yep.
And then it was a big hit. It was a massive hit in Scandinavia for some reason. It was #1 there. It's as well like as House of the Rising Sun is, you know.
No, but really looking forward to next year seeing you guys in was it February, March in Australia? So it's going to be a great show. I'm sure of it.
I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it.
I'll definitely be there at the gig, so look out for me.
Oh yeah, okay. Make yourself known, Adam, and we'll have a drink maybe or something or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. But thank you again, and sorry about the quality of the phone call. Hopefully next time we can do it in person.
No worries, we've got through it.
That's it. All right. Well, thanks again.
Great to talk to you. Some nice, interesting questions there. Thanks, Adam.
No problem at all. Thank you, John, and I'll see you next year.
Okay.
Yeah, for
Bye-bye
sure.
for now, then.
All right. Bye bye. See ya.